From the front page of the Yonkers Statesman, December 5, 1916. Headline: Ovation to the President when he appeared before Congress. When President Wilson appeared before Congress at 1 o'clock this afternoon to deliver his annual message, Democrats and many Republicans united in a great demonstration to felicitate the President upon his re-election. As the President began reading, a huge yellow sign bearing the words, "Mr. President, what will you do for women's suffrage?" was unfurled over the edge of the gallery by suffragists. A page pulled down the banner. Headline: Address to the 64th Congress. President Wilson renews his recommendation for legislation to prevent nationwide railroad strike or lockout. Congress also asked to take action on Puerto Rico government bill and the Corrupt Practices Bill. President Wilson's address at the opening of the session of Congress today was wholly devoted to domestic subjects, principally the problem of railway legislation. The renewed recommendation for compulsory investigation of labor disputes on railways before strikes or lockouts are allowed, which has aroused the opposition of the Railroad Brotherhoods and of the American Federation of Labor, was defended in the President's message. He declared he would hesitate to recommend a law which would force individual workmen to continue in an employment which they desired to leave, but that no such principle was involved in the suggestion that the operation of the railways of the country should not be stopped by the concentrated action of bodies of men until a public investigation for the benefit of the public had been instituted. The President's message read in part, "I recommend the establishment of an 8-hour day as a legal basis alike of work and of wages in the employment of all railway employees who are actually engaged in the work of operating trains in interstate transportation. The authorization of the appointment by the President of a small body of men to observe the actual results in experience of the adoption of the 8-hour day in railway transportation, alike for the men and for the railroads. Explicit approval by the Congress of the consideration by the Interstate Commerce Commission of an increase of freight rates to meet such additional expenditures by the railroads as may have been rendered necessary by the adoption of the 8-hour day and which have not been offset by administrative readjustments and economies, should the facts disclosed justify the increase. And an amendment of the existing federal statute which provides for the mediation, conciliation, and arbitration of such controversies as the present." Headline: Bucharest's fate seems to be sealed. Bucharest's fate apparently is sealed. The Teutonic advance toward it is going on unchecked. Romanian attempts to stop it are unsuccessful. This announcement was made by a Russian official statement today. Petrograd also mentions Plecci, 35 miles north of Bucharest, as another point in the direction in which the invaders are moving without effective opposition. Plecci is on the line of the only railway line of retreat for the Romanians operating near Bucharest. The threat seemingly means the speedy evacuation of Bucharest if the Romanians hope to make an effective retreat over the railroad line towards Moldavia. Berlin also announces renewed Russian attacks in the Carpathian Forest and along the Transylvanian frontier yesterday, which did not gain the slightest success. The Teutonic troops have recaptured lost positions. The Exchange Telegraph Company says British War Secretary Lloyd George has decided to resign. His resignation was drafted after he had received an intimation that Premier Asquith could not agree to the suggestion that a war council should be formed without the Premier at its head. And that's the news from Yonkers 100 years ago today.